Later that day, after it grew dark, Jesus said to his disciples, "Let's cross over to the other side of the lake." After they had sent the crowd away, they shoved off from the shore with him, as he had been teaching from the boat, and there were other boats that sailed with him. Suddenly, as they were crossing the lake, a ferocious tempest arose with violent winds and waves that were crashing into the boat until it was all but swamped. But Jesus was calmly sleeping in the stern, resting on a cushion. So they shook him awake and saying, "Teacher, don't you even care that we're about to die?" Fully awake, he rebuked the storm and shouted to the sea, "Hush! Calm down." All at once the wind stopped howling and the water became perfectly calm. Then he turned to his disciples and said to them, "Why are you so afraid? Haven't you learned to trust yet?" But they were overwhelmed with fear and awe and said to one another, "Who is this man who has such authority that even the wind and the waves obey him?" See, when I was reading that, I realized something. It says after it was dark. So Christ knew that this was going to happen because Christ knows everything. But yet he still allowed the situation to take place when it was dark, in the midst of darkness, in the midst of a storm. And the thing that he was trying to teach the disciples here is not necessarily that there wouldn't be a storm, but you have to trust in what he said. And he said, "Let's go to the other side." And even in the midst of that storm, he was sleeping because he knew that they were going to get to the other side. So what we need to do right now is we need to trust the word of God. He has said he has plans to prosper us, plans of an expected end, plans not to harm us, but plans for great future. So we need to trust that we're going to get to the other side. Even in the midst of darkness, even in the midst of a storm, even in the midst of the winds and the waves, we will get to the other side.